Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are having a good day. It is Tuesday, January 5th, and I am here today with a video. Today, we're going to be talking about our potential upcoming little winter storms, which could bring some snow to areas of the south. We're going to be talking about that in today's video. And actually, right now, we do have a pretty quiet pattern across much of the central and eastern U.S. But that will likely change as we go into the mid to late January. That is most likely going to change. And we're going to be talking about that in today's video. So yeah, let's get started. So right now, this is pretty much our current jet stream. Right now, we have a trough that is exiting the east right now. And you can see we have this forming in the center part of the country. This is tomorrow evening. We have an upper level low in northern Texas by Dallas. And this piece of energy is going to be our first little southern winter storm. Now, this could bring a little bit of snow to sort of areas of North Carolina and Tennessee and some of the higher elevations. As this moves further east, we can see that moves further east. And then around Sunday, we do have this little disturbance. And this is going to be a little wave of energy. This is going to be a very weak storm system for areas of Texas, maybe, and potentially areas of Florida. Maybe some snow in Texas. And we're going to talk about that. So first of all, let's start with our potential winter storm, or not potential, but our upcoming winter storm that's going to be happening in the southeast. So actually, I think I'm going to get a different sector. Let's do the Mid-Atlantic so you can see this better. All right, so we can see we're going to be looking at the European model first. Then we're going to be looking at the GFS. So Thursday evening, our low is in sort of central southern Alabama, and we do have some mix going on in areas of Kentucky, Tennessee, with some wintry mix starting to happen and some snow, but nothing too significant. And then this is Friday early morning. We have a little bit of light to moderate snow in areas of Kentucky, northern Tennessee, some mix making it all the way down to almost northern Alabama. And in the higher elevations, you do have some snow starting in the higher elevations of western North Carolina and eastern Tennessee. Now, once this low pressure moves further east, it moves almost in the central South Carolina and central Georgia. You can see this is Friday morning. We actually have freezing rain, or not freezing rain, sorry, wintry mix going all the way down to North Georgia and northern South Carolina and into North Carolina. And we do have areas of heavy snow in western North Carolina and the higher elevations and in some of the lower elevations, kind of in the Piedmont to the east. We could see some snow with this. And Friday afternoon, it starts to move out. We lose a little bit of moisture. And we could still see some lingering snow and wintry mix all the way over to maybe the Raleigh area. And then Saturday early morning, we could see a chance in eastern North Carolina for some snow. Now, total accumulations with the European model. Let's take a look at that. So total snowfall accumulations with the European model for the storm system. Some of these could be overdone because this is a 10-to-1 ratio. But we can see we have the heaviest snows in western North Carolina, where we could see maybe up to a half foot in some areas. So a lot of snow, but that is definitely possible. And then we can see we have a little bit of snow in North Georgia, northern Alabama. Now this area could see nothing. Well, likely northeast Georgia could see some stuff, but northern Alabama in that area, that is kind of questionable right now. And then we have a little bit, around 1 to 2 inches, or up to 1 to maybe 2 inches if you're really lucky, to areas of Tennessee and Kentucky. And we can see we do have the snow making it out of the actual, or into the North Carolina Piedmont. And so yeah, now let's take a look at what the GFS is saying, because these two models are pretty different. So let's take a look at the GFS. We do need to switch this model run real quick to the 18Z. All right, so yeah, so we can see with the GFS, we go out to Thursday evening. We can see our lows in central Alabama. We have a little bit of snow starting to mix in areas in northern South Carolina and southwestern North Carolina. And then we go later into Friday early morning. Now, keep in mind the GFS does have snowfall pretty limited in this area. Barely any, actually none in Kentucky, northern Tennessee, maybe a little bit mixing in on the GFS. So we're going to have to see what actually happens with this. But then Friday early morning, we have snow in the higher elevations, some of which could actually be pretty heavy. And then we can see by Friday morning, we don't have all that wintry mix down in the North Georgia, northern Alabama. We do have spots of snow showers and even some moderate snow areas in northern South Carolina and western North Carolina, all the way making it up into maybe Virginia with some light snow showers. And then Friday afternoon, though, the GFS does have some patches of heavy snow to the northwest of the low in areas of central South Carolina. And then that moves east. So take a look at total accumulations. We're going to look at the 10-to-1 ratio first, which keep in mind the 10-to-1 could overdo this a little bit. Let's go out to when we have this. So we can see a little bit less with the accumulations in western North Carolina, but we do have a lot more kind of in central North Carolina, of almost 9 inches happening. So I think that is overdoing it a little bit. So let's actually take a look at the Kuchera ratio. Some areas could see that much snow, but it's not going to be widespread. It's going to be very localized, most likely. You can see the 10, or not the 10 to 1, the Kuchera ratio is a lot more sort of realistic. We have only 6 inches in that area. And we can see western North Carolina, though, getting around 2 to 4, maybe areas up to 6. So definitely an interesting winter storm. We're going to have another update on that tomorrow, though, as we get closer to when that will actually happen. Now, so we can see this in the big picture here. You can see we have another storm system heading to the northwest, a pretty strong one. And then we can see this is our little area. We could see maybe some snow in areas of Texas with this here. New Mexico, the mountains of Colorado also, and maybe even the Texas and Oklahoma Panhandle, all the way down into central Texas. And then that moves too far southeast. Now, a little bit ago, GFS was showing a pretty big snowstorm for the southeast with this, but it's not looking like it's going to happen. The low is too far south and pretty weak. But I don't think that's going to happen. But there is still a chance for below the shift for the north, but the low pretty much completely dies by the time it gets around Florida. And then also, now before we end the video, we're going to talk about this for a second. So we are probably going to start to get a more active weather pattern as we go into mid to late January. You can see this is the 14th, this is the 14th. We have some what likely will be pretty strong storm systems moving through the U.S. And then this right here would bring some very cold air down all the way to the south. And we can see temperatures. This is just for fun, though. This is 336 hours out on the GFS, so do not trust anything you're going to see. But we do have some pretty cold temperatures making it pretty far south. Teens making it all the way down to central Alabama, central Georgia, and negatives making it all the way down into southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and northern Kentucky. So this is very far out in the GFS, though. So do not think this is going to happen as of right now. But we will likely, or we will most likely, or probably see a more active pattern as we get into mid to late January. Because right now we are kind of in a more calm weather pattern right now, so that is good. But yeah, I will be back tomorrow with another video. But yes.